So today for lunch, things were a little different. Usually I get to Olive Garden before Ariel does. My work's a little bit closer than hers is, but I got stuck at work, and so Ariel got there first. It's usually better when I get there first. I can order for her, she can come, she can eat, and then she can leave. Because her work's further away, she also has to leave before I do. But today it was different, so I showed up later, and it was not as much fun. But we did have the happiest server I've ever met in my entire life. She just smiled the whole time, and everything was fantastic. Okay, fantastic. Yes, that's fantastic. Okay, fantastic. She was super great, though. I mean, really happy, nice. One of those people that you would absolutely hate if you had to deal with them every day because she's so happy all the time. But she was good as a server. We sat next to an old couple, and the guy, I don't know, he looked like he reminded me of something. I couldn't figure it out. And I think it might be Fonzie Bear that I'm thinking of, but like if Fonzie Bear was an alcoholic. But the old couple were hilarious. There was like some confusion. They wanted something that was Mediterranean, and he was like, it comes in like a rectangle. And the server's like, okay, so it's something with Mediterranean in the title, and it comes in a square. And the guy's like, yeah, a rectangle. It's a rectangle, not a square, and it's Mediterranean. And then his wife was wearing like short shorts, and like you could see all of her varicose veins, which was gross, but also strangely endearing. And she had like a margarita sitting on the table, and she was sitting in her chair and had her feet like up on the bar of the chair and pushed up and like got her butt off the thing to drink from the straw. I was like, lady, just pick it up. Just pick it up. It's so much easier. But it was hilarious. And then the server came back and was like, yeah, we don't know what is a rectangle and is Mediterranean. And the guy's like, I can offer you this and this and this. And so the Fonzie alcoholic was like, yeah. So that was fun too. The food took forever to get there. We don't know what was going on. If it was just super busy, or if when Ariel orders, they just take longer. But she ordered for me the angel hair pasta with Asiago, garlic Alfredo, and chicken fritta. That's what I ate last night, except for with shrimp fritta. Sometimes it's tough when you're married. You both have like the same brain waves, and you just kind of like all think the same thing. But it was better. It was much better there. I think the deal is that you have to have the Asiago garlic Alfredo like right away. Like it's got to be like hot and like still runny kind of, because if it like sits out and congeals, which is a gross word, but that's what happens. So if it sits out and thickens, that's probably a better word. If it sits and thickens, it's not as good. So you got to make sure that it's like right away and it's better. Because I mean, even after like 10 minutes, it's kind of over. You got to eat it fast. But I liked it. It was good. And then Ariel had to leave, like I said, pretty early, so I still had quite some time at the table. And I became the spectacle. Usually I'm watching everybody and like making fun of them. But we were sitting by a table where like the road to leave the parking lot was right there. And so Ariel drove by in the car and like stopped and like waved at me, like jokingly. And I was like, and then I blew her a kiss out the window right as a server, not our happy server, but a different server was like, would you like the Dr. Pepper? And I was like, yeah, the Dr. Pepper, thank you. And like I looked up and there were like 4 people like looking at me as I was making faces out the window. But then my wife was still there, so I kept making faces out the window because screw those other people. So we were flirting through the window, and then she got a notification on her phone or something and started looking at her phone. I was like waiting for her to look back at me, and then she like moved forward while she looked at her phone. So that was the end of that. And then the super nice server came back and was like, well, thanks so much. She brought our pasta pass back and was like, thanks so much. I look forward to seeing you soon. And I will. And she pointed at the pasta passes, but it was super creepy, like something you'd see in a horror movie. That lunch cost, or would have cost us, $35.58. Pasta pass obviously cost us $0, bringing our grand total up to $395.18. In the evening, Ariel still had to work. She's got some new compliance things going on at work, and so she's working really hard. So I went to Olive Garden again by myself, and I sat down, and boy band walks by and like rapped on the table and was like, oh, eating alone tonight, huh? I was like, yes, boy band, I'm eating alone tonight. Not all of us have the boyish good charm and droves of women following us. But it was fine. Wednesday was like Wednesday night at Leisure World. It was pretty late, like 8 o'clock, which is late for Leisure World and for me. It was pretty depressed. It was like Wednesday night woes. It was like calm and quiet, and no one was really bustly, but it was really efficient. Like the hostess kind of was just like, okay, I'll take you back, and like took me back. She didn't like try to small chat with me. She sat me down. My server came out, and also I was being kind of efficient and like straightforward because I was tired. And but I got the chicken gnocchi soup. If you've never had chicken gnocchi or gnocchi or any other weird way of saying that, it's pretty good. It's like dumplings, and I'd never had it until I was like 19, but it's pretty good. I had a middle-aged server who was like balding, but then had like jerry curls, like natural jerry curls. So it was like bald jerry curls. And I really appreciate that because as a guy with some pretty good curls who will lose his hair eventually, it's already thinning, I like to see ways that people deal with that. I'll probably just shave mine, but I appreciated his initiative in jerry curl growing. I saw a kid walk in on an iPad. You know, his family's coming in and he's sitting there on his iPad playing games. I was like, I bet that they play Zeos games, even though he's got his iPad. And sure enough, I was right. He sat down and his brother started playing the Zeos, and so they paid for that. And I was like, that's ridiculous. There was a flip-flop date. You know, a couple came in and sat down, and it was clear they were on a date, a pretty new date. You know, they weren't like a couple, but they were both wearing flip-flops, which I thought was kind of cute. I also noticed a mother of 3 was like staring at them with daggers in her eyes. Like, no one takes me to dinner anymore. Because it was just her and like her 3 kids. And she was really jealous of their young love. There was an Olive Garden miracle though. iPad kid eventually put his iPad down and started coloring on the placemats with crayons. Like a kid should do. So that was super cool. His brother did pick up the iPad and play with that. So they paid for Zeos games, but he was using the Zeos as a stand for the iPad to play the games. But his other brother was coloring, so there's hope for the world. I also ordered a meal for Ariel to go again. Like halfway through my meal, I called in and ordered. And there is some mass confusion up at that hostess desk. I think that's probably where they put like the new people, so they just like don't know how things work. But for some reason, when I say my name over the phone, James, they're always like Dean or Dave. Like I don't know how James sounds like that, but I'm like James, James. And then yesterday they had the order under Jane, and then today I don't even know what they had the order into, but like the hostess was like, yeah, order for James, and she's like James, James, James. I'm like, what did he order? So they had to find it through what I ordered because the name was so screwed up. It's because there's a grumpy hostess, the one who wanted cigarettes from Mexula. She's grumpy and she's not very good, I think. But the other hostess was really good. She was one who was trying to help me out, and she was great. So that I paid $18.33, or I would have paid $18.33 for my meal, $14.02 for Ariel's meal, which brings our grand total up to $427.53. So now we've doubled the value of 2 pasta passes, even though we won our pasta passes on Twitter, so we didn't pay anything for them. But had we have paid for him, it would have been $200. We're now at $427.53 in 14 visits. Unfortunately, so I was worried I was going to hit that 200-pound mark, but I lost weight. I lost 2.2 pounds since yesterday. I still have gained 3.6 pounds overall. So I still haven't hit that 200-pound mark, but if I get back up there, I'll let you know. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.